Imagine a world where Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary wasn't assassinated on June 28, 1914. This is not a tale from a parallel universe, but a hypothetical exploration of history. Now you might ask, why focus on Franz Ferdinand? Well, his assassination was the spark that ignited the powder keg of tensions in Europe, leading to the outbreak of World War I. Yet, what if that spark was never lit? What if Franz Ferdinand survived that fateful day in Sarajevo? The what-ifs of history might be speculative, but they can offer us fresh perspectives on the past. They challenge us to think about how one event, one decision, can set the course for the rest of history. So, buckle up for a journey into an alternate timeline where Franz Ferdinand wasn't assassinated. Now let us delve into the tensions that marked the early 20th century European landscape. The early 20th century was a powder keg waiting to explode. The world was on the brink of a seismic shift as tensions among European powers were running high. The continent was a patchwork of empires, kingdoms, and fledgling states, each vying for influence, territory, and power. The heart of Europe, Austria-Hungary, was a dual monarchy struggling to maintain its grip on a diverse range of ethnic groups. Its annexation of Bosnia and Herzegovina in 1908 had already stoked tensions with Serbia, a nation yearning to unify all South Slavs under their banner. This was the Balkan powder keg, a region of Europe where the political climate was as volatile as nitroglycerin. While Austria-Hungary grappled with its internal issues, the broader European landscape was no less fraught. The Triple Entente, comprised of Russia, France, and Britain, was locked in a tense standoff with the Triple Alliance of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. This was the stage upon which the tragic event of June 28, 1914, unfolded. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne in Sarajevo, was more than just a political murder. It was the match that lit the fuse of the powder keg. Austria-Hungary, backed by Germany, issued an ultimatum to Serbia. When Serbia's response fell short of the ultimatum's stringent demands, Austria-Hungary declared war. Russia, bound by its Slavic ties to Serbia, mobilized its forces. Germany, honoring its alliance with Austria-Hungary, declared war on Russia. France, allied to Russia, was drawn in, and when Germany invaded neutral Belgium to outflank the French army, Britain declared war on Germany. Thus, a single gunshot in Sarajevo spiraled into the Great War, a conflict of a scale and devastation the world had never witnessed before. But what if the spark that ignited this powder keg never happened? What if Franz Ferdinand, the man whose death was the catalyst for this cataclysm, had survived? What would the world look like then? As we delve into this alternate history, remember that the threads of history are delicately intertwined, and even the slightest tug can unravel a very different tapestry. In a world where Franz Ferdinand survives, the political dynamics within Austria-Hungary and the broader European landscape would certainly be different. Let's dive into the realm of the what-ifs and explore the potential impacts of Franz Ferdinand's survival. As the presumptive heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, his continued existence would have surely played a significant role in shaping the political landscape of the early 20th century. Franz Ferdinand, unlike his uncle Emperor Franz Joseph, was known for his relatively progressive views. He advocated for a more federalist system, which could have potentially eased ethnic tensions within the multinational empire. In our alternate timeline, this could have offered a peaceful solution to the internal conflicts plaguing Austria-Hungary, preventing its eventual disintegration and the subsequent reshaping of the European map. But what about the broader European landscape? The early 20th century was characterized by a delicate balance of power among the major European nations. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand was the spark that ignited a powder keg of tensions, leading to the outbreak of World War I. If he had survived that fateful day in Sarajevo, it's plausible that the Great War, as we know it, might not have occurred, at least not in the way it did. In this alternate history, diplomatic efforts might have played a more prominent role in de-escalating the growing tensions among the European powers. A world where diplomacy trumps warfare, where conflicts are resolved around the negotiating table rather than on the battlefield, is a fascinating prospect. The survival of Franz Ferdinand could have provided the necessary catalyst for such a shift in approach. Imagine a scenario where the antagonism between Serbia and Austria-Hungary is resolved diplomatically, with Franz Ferdinand's influence playing a key role. The July crisis, which followed the assassination and led to the domino effect of war declarations, might have been diffused, possibly averting a full-scale war. This could have led to a more stable Balkans, preventing the region from becoming the proverbial powder keg of Europe. Similarly, the underlying conflicts in the rest of Europe could have been addressed through diplomatic channels. The complex web of alliances, which played a significant role in escalating the conflict into a world war, might not have been activated. Instead, we could have seen a series of negotiations and diplomatic resolutions, changing the face of European politics. The ripples of this single survival could have drastically changed the course of history. A world without World War I might have looked vastly different, with far-reaching implications on the balance of power in Europe and the course of the 20th century. But remember, this is all conjecture. It's an exploration of possibilities, a testament to the power of individual actions and historical contingencies in shaping our world. No one can say for certain what would have happened, but it's always intriguing to ponder the what-ifs of history. The assassination of a single man set the world ablaze, but what if that flame was never lit? If Franz Ferdinand had not been assassinated, the short-term outcomes could have been strikingly different. The immediate tensions and political rivalries that led to the outbreak of World War I might have been diffused or at least delayed. Diplomatic decisions could have taken a different route, possibly preventing the escalation to a full-scale war. In the long term, the balance of power in Europe could have shifted dramatically. Without the devastation of World War I, the subsequent rise of totalitarian regimes might have been averted. The map of Europe, and indeed the world, could have been redrawn along different lines. The ripple effects of this single event not taking place would have shaped a whole new course for 20th century history. Yet, it's essential to remember that history is not a series of what-ifs. It's a record of what happened, and as we know, history is not written by what-ifs, but by what happened. Each event, each decision, each action has its place in the grand tapestry of history. The hypothetical survival of Franz Ferdinand underscores how different paths could have been tread upon. So, how do you think history would have unfolded if Franz Ferdinand hadn't been assassinated? Share your thoughts with us.